Welcome back to NFL Live. Breaking news today with Jalen Waddle being traded. Adam Schefter, fill us in on how this came together.
Well, Laura, the Denver Broncos were making calls about Jalen Waddle's availability before the trade deadline last year. Those talks continued for the last 10 days. And over the last few days, the two sides were trying to figure out the right combination of draft picks that would be exchanged today that wound up with Waddle coming to Denver with a 4th-round pick and a 1, 3, and 4 going back to the Miami Dolphins, who are now loaded with picks in this upcoming draft. Meanwhile, we continue to await some sort of solution in the A.J. Brown scenario. And the A.J. Brown scenario is such where basically he is in a situation where the Eagles have been open about talking to other teams. They have been insistent and adamant they will not trade him unless they get an offer that they can't refuse. They have not gotten that yet. Plus, there's the issue of the salary cap money. If they traded him, before June 1st, it will be $40 million against their cap right away, as opposed to after June 1st, when it will be split up $20 million now, $20 million later. And while we await a solution for A.J. Brown, the Eagles reached agreement today with Hollywood Brown on a 1-year deal, so they add another wide receiver, a low-cost risk investment, some speed to get into the Eagles' wide receiver room after they lost Jahan Dotson in free agency. So Dotson moves on. They replace him with Hollywood Brown as the number 3 wide receiver. So they add Hollywood Brown while we wait to see a resolution on A.J. Brown.
Okay, we're going to ask you about this like every day until something happens, Adam. And one of these days you're going to have something, whether he's staying or going. Yeah, I love it. Dan, what do you think about the possibility of A.J. Brown being traded now? Now that we know a little bit more about where some of these other receivers have gone.
Yeah, it sounds like it's more than likely the post-June 1st because of the salary cap hit move. I would say this, if you're Philadelphia, where is the pass rush help coming from? Since you lost Jalen Phillips, that has not been addressed yet. And maybe you could address it in the draft. But for an organization that has been one of the best pass rush organizations in the NFL over the past couple years, as great as A.J. Brown is, and I still believe he is great, let's live in a world where a month from now in the NFL draft, specifically early on, they aren't able to get a pass rusher. So then are they going to go into the season without the pass rush help? No. And I think then it becomes an even greater conversation of, okay, New England, are you willing to part? Okay, Baltimore, are you willing to part? Maybe the Chargers, are you willing to part with maybe a 1st and or 2nd round pick for A.J. Brown? Because if Waddle today goes for a 1st and plus, A.J. Brown's certainly going to go for more.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, it drove his market up a little higher.
There's no doubt about it.
I do wonder if a lot of these teams are saying, well, wait a second, this is a receiver-rich draft. Maybe we can get a guy, not maybe even the 1st round, but after that. Mel, you already told us about Jordan Tyson going to the Dolphins. Let's look at where some of the other receivers went in the latest mock. Mel, start us off with Carnell Tate, believed to be the best of this class by many.
Yeah, he is, Laura, and he's polished. He's ready to go coming out of Ohio State. The route running, the hands, the concentration. He blocks as well. And for the New Orleans Saints, again, I thought about the Giants at 5. I thought about Cleveland at 6. But to go to New Orleans with Tyler Shuck, you have Chris Olave, this Ohio State wide receiver situation has been really good in the NFL. These guys come in right away and produce, and Carnell Tate is NFL ready. The Saints at this point, remember, Jeremiah Love we thought could be there. He's not going to be there, and they made the move for a veteran running back. So at the end of the day, this pick makes sense if he's there, and I think there's a possibility he won't, but if he is, lock it in.
Yeah, I love Tate to the Giants at 5. Carnell Tate has got a little bit of George Pickens in his game, where he's that long, rangy, unbelievable basketball, go up and make a play on the football skill set, not necessarily going to blow people away running by them, but feels like he catches anything remotely close thrown to his body, some of the search catches that George Pickens is notorious for. I look at a Giants offense and I say, okay, you have Isaiah Likely and you can pair him with Malik Neighbors, then the second-year quarterback Jackson Dart's got something to do. I do. If he is available for the Saints at 8, I love him there as well. I like Tate.
Mel, in the later part of the 1st round, you have Mekhi Lemon go into the Browns. How does he fit there?
This is contingent, Laura, upon the Jets. If the Jets don't take Ty Simpson, and Adam suggested maybe they won't, then Mekhi Lemon could go there. If he gets past there, and I'm Cleveland, I'm trading up. I got to get Shador Sanders, a guy who can catch the ball. Shador showed excellent promise this year, a quarterback for the Browns. Mekhi Lemon can catch the ball, something Browns receivers had a tough time doing at times this year, right? So he's also an outstanding return man. We'll set him up in good field position as well. This kid plays fierce. If he gets in that middle area of the first round, and I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to be aggressive and go up and get Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, this would be the receiver that I would take first, probably, if I was an NFL football team. I'm on Ross St. Brown. Unbelievably physically tough, strong hands, catches everything with his hands. He can go deep and make plays on the football. He's a very good route runner. I can get him touches down in the red zone. He's got a great understanding for change of pace and space. This is a situation I don't think you'll overthink this player. His tape is phenomenal. I don't care what he tested at. He's a great football player. You take him.
By the way, just those highlights alone, I mean, come on. And there's so many more like that. We've turned into Mekhi Lemon fans on this show, but it makes sense. Okay, the final receiver in this mock, Mel has the Patriots taking KC Concepcion. I love this. I mean, Mel, we've talked about A.J. Brown getting traded there, but maybe they go this route in the draft, and that helps in a big way.
Laura, explosive is how you describe KC Concepcion. The minute he stepped on the field at NC State for the Wolfpack, he was a big-time player. He ends up at Texas A&M. You see the ability after the catch, dynamic. Also a tremendous punt returner. Drake May will love to have a KC Concepcion added to that New England Patriot offense.
Yeah, the only question I have, Mel, with Concepcion, and I was talking with Field Yates a little bit about this, is just not that big frame. For a first-round receiver, I'd like a little bit more of a frame. In New England, I know there's Kayshon Boutte. Does he fill that, Stephon Diggs role, even though they've signed Romeo Doubs? So I like the player, really good, explosive player. But the frame thing, I think, has got to be at least something that is talked about for him in New England.
And as you may have noticed so far in this show, we're also big Kenyon Sadiq fans. Mel, you have another pass catcher in the first round of your mock going to the Bucs. Why tight end Kenyon Sadiq here?
People say, well, hey, K. Dotton's back. Kenyon Sadiq, I would just say, when I said KC Concepcion explosive, I would say Kenyon Sadiq weapon, okay? He's the kind of guy, matchup nightmare. You can move him around, in line, H-back, all over the place. This kid is a big-time athlete. He keeps developing as a football player. His knowledge of the game wowed people over. They were amazed. And I think when you look at Kenyon Sadiq, he's ready to go despite his age. Not the big factor. But Ferguson was there, remember, at Oregon a couple years ago. He's with the Rams now. Kenyon Sadiq is rising up draft boards. And we've got a ways to go until we get to April 23rd. And Kenyon Sadiq, I think, deserves to be and will be in the top 15 of this draft.
Yeah, and of course, you got to think about the 2026. That was an interesting way to say that. Season without Mike Evans. Okay, it's going to be the first time since 2013 that they haven't had him there. Young wideouts Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, they're expected to take bigger roles within this Bucs offense, while the team will also lean on veterans Chris Godwin, K. Dotton, as we just heard Mel mentioning, as well as running back Bucky Irvin. And Dan, what do you think of Sadiq for the Bucs?
I like him. I like him for Tampa. You pair him with K. Dotton, Zach Robinson, who's their new offensive coordinator, who comes from Atlanta, just had experience with Kyle Pitts. The only thing I would say, Mel, is where does the pass rush come back for Tampa? That's an area that Tampa has been searching for. It's something that Todd Bowles is notorious with. They had to pressure so much more last year, and they were inconsistent in it. As much as I love the player, I question for Tampa, is that player more impactful than trying to find that pass rush help to try to get this defense under Todd Bowles back to what it used to be a couple years ago?
Yeah, so Mel, are there edge rushers in that range for the Bucs that you could see him taking?
Dan, Laura, it would be Reuben Bain Jr. if he gets down into this mix. And he could, because there's some teams that think he's a late first rounder, not a early to mid. So there's wide range of opinion. Very polarizing is Reuben Bain Jr. because of the arm length and the speed and the concern he's just a great college player, will run into some resistance in the NFL. If he's around, I will also say for the Bucs, Muhammad comes in from Detroit. 11 sacks last year opposite Hutchinson. So Muhammad comes in, Diaby had 7 sacks. So with Muhammad and Diaby, you got a shot there to have some edge rushers and get after the quarterback. But certainly if Bain Jr. was there and Sadiq were there, it would be an interesting discussion. But he's the only edge rusher I could see at that point that would maybe make some sense.
I mean, listen, you can talk to me about the arm length of Ruben Bain Jr., but I'm just saying if he gets disrespected in his mind going later in the first round, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder so big. It could be a real benefit for whomever takes him. All right, still to come, Mel has Jeremiah Love. Let's talk about him a little bit. Going number 4 to the Titans. I love this pick. In his latest mock, Dan explains why Love would be a perfect fit for Brian Daboll's offense. That's next.